left can be filled. And I'm asking myself, which vacant seat out of 32, 27 go this side? Where won't put them again? So to recall, I know also that CRAM is asking for something close to that. Let's talk about the crisis in Rivers and recent developments.
It's a sad development that we are having in Rivers State, even though it is expected, because you cannot beat a child and stop him from crying. A month ago, the House of Assembly, was brought down on Sunday, and on Monday, a faction led by Martins, the speaker then, Martins Emahule, went and sat on the same premises and suspended 5 members of the assembly. The former majority leader, Edison Ehe, was suspended along with others. And then these 5 went and elected Edison Ehe as their speaker, supporting the governor. Then the 27 of them, sat and submitted impeachment notice to the governor. And the governor went there to see the incident that happened that led to the burning down of the assembly. You could even hear the governor in the tape saying that he was fired, he was being shot at by the security agencies. He particularly named the police. And you could see the governor being tear gassed, water cannon being used in the crowd and the rest. And subsequently, that crisis had lingered. And I think I was here to condemn it, and we call on the president to intervene, because report has it that the 27 members are loyal to the minister of the FCT, the former governor of the state, who incidentally, is the godfather of the governor of the state. And so the president graciously intervened, invited the minister, invited the governor and other stakeholders, and the president sued for peace and called that, the matter be resolved. We had thought that the matter had been resolved, because after then we have been seeing the governor and his predecessor at public functions.
Yeah.
And even recently, we saw, messages being sent out when the former governor had his birthday. We saw several messages being signed by the governor, calling him my Oga, all those things. So we had thought that the matter had been resolved. Though the impeachment notice was served, this other faction had gone to court, and the matter had continued. This faction, these 5, they keep on sitting, under the cover of the governor. 27 keep on sitting in the burnt down building. And this continued up until yesterday, that we now saw that the 27 members had now openly defected to the APC in the state. Now, the question here is, what does the Constitution say about this? I am particularly concerned because we are operating a constitutional democracy. Our own system of democracy is rooted in the Constitution. So whatever you do, you must take the Constitution, which is like the Bible now for Christians, to look at what does it say. Now look at section 109, sub 1G, what it says. It's a very clear, section that says that the moment you are sponsored by a political party to the Legislative Assembly, House of Assembly in this case, and you leave the party to another party in the course of your tenure, if there's no division in the party, mark the word division, in the party that sponsored you, you now left the party to another party, your seat has been declared vacant. That is it. He said use a proviso. He said provided that there's no division in the party that sponsored your candidature to the House of Assembly. So automatically in the eyes,
there is division.
I'm coming. Now in the eyes of the Constitution, the 27 lawmakers have automatically vacated their seats. You could see instances have been cited, even in Akwa Ibom case. We have cases in Akwa Ibom here, I think 2 instances or 3, where lawmakers defected from a party that sponsored them to another party and they lost their seat. And the court declared it. Now in Cross River State, you had it in 2022, 20 lawmakers defected from PDP to APC with Governor Ayade, and the court ruled that they have all lost their seat. So that is what the law says. Now, what the Center for Human Rights is saying is very simple. We don't want to know which faction is what, but we're simply saying, in the eyes of the law, can these 27 lawmakers who have left their party to another party still be deemed to be House members? The answer is no. From the day they have left the party that has sponsored them to another party, they have automatically lost their seat. And whatever they will do in the name of House of Assembly of Rivers State will be unconstitutional, will be unlawful, will be null and void, and ultra-virus the Constitution. Now, you said there is a division. Let's look at that issue now. That is what they claim. I have read their reason for defecting.
You use the word claim.
I'm coming. Yeah. I will give you.
As though there is
I have
division
taken.
in the party.
Yes. Now, the word claim is because PDP is registered in its head office. All the political parties are registered in their head offices, not in the state offices. You don't have two PDP in Akwa Ibom in Nigeria to speak today. You only have their head office in one place.
And the branch office in states.
State level. But the law, if you are to sue the PDP, you are suing the PDP national chairman. Do they have two chairmen at the national level? The answer is no. So if a party member chooses to pick another party member to court, does that mean that they have two NEC? Do they have two NWC? Do they have two offices? The answer is no. So apparently there is no division in PDP. That is the way the Center for Human Rights has reviewed the issue. So if you must say, now when you say there is division, let's look at it this way. In the days of Saraki and Rotimi Amechi, you had the new PDP, what they call the NPDP. Get the point? Which was led by Galadima. And they had their own national secretariat, different from the PDP secretariat. And they did their activities different from what the PDP was doing. That is what you can now call division. Because in the eyes of the law, even the INEC became confused as to which office to address their correspondence to. But as we speak today, if you have crisis in the state level, it doesn't amount to calling it a division of the party. The party remains in one office in Abuja. The party remains with one chairman in Abuja. The party remains in one correspondent, in one office. So what you can term division, which the lawmakers use to shoot themselves by the foot, is that the national secretary of the party is being in contention with another person. Now, does it mean that the party is not functioning? The party is still functioning. They have one NWC, they have one NEC. They have just one trustee. So that is what we are saying. So in the eyes of Center for Human Rights, we deem the fact that the 27 lawmakers have shoot themselves by the foot by leaving the party that sponsored them to another party. And section 109(1)(g), by function of that section, they have automatically lost their seats. And so we are calling on INEC to now start the process to conduct a fresh elections into those offices. Otherwise, you'll be having a lacuna. You'll be creating a lacuna in the constitution, in the state. And that will be a very serious issue. You'll be creating a kind of... because let me even add this. For assembly to be fully constituted, you must have at least 22 assembly persons must be. You must have 22 assembly members in the state to say this is House of Assembly. I'm not saying for you to carry out your businesses. As it stands now, the assembly has only 5 members. And can these 5 members go ahead with their functions? The answer is no. So the assembly need to be well constituted, and the INEC need to begin to commence the process to do fresh elections to fill the offices that have become vacant by function of section 109(1)(g).
Well, of course, you're also aware that the state APC has called for the sanction of that judge over that ruling, because they believe that ruling.
Yeah, now back to the judgment. I have not read the full detail of the judgment given by the Rivers State High Court, but what I just saw in the papers is that the River State High Court has restrained the 27 House members from using the assembly, Martin Mahule's faction, from using the assembly that was burnt down, right, for activities, because the governor said the assembly is now under renovation. That's one. Two, from going ahead to carry out activities of the assembly in any other premises.
And from parading
themselves as the speaker. So that one, I have not read the full detail. I have not seen the fact available before the judge, because one thing you must note is that judges are not sent. They give ruling and order based on fact available before them. So until we now see the fact before the judge, we can now begin to speak as to whether it was a valid order, whether it was made on its merit, or it was made on other influences coming in. But the truth remains that as we speak today, those who have defected by function of section 109 sub 1G have lost their seat in the assembly, and so the INEC should commence the process. If INEC were to be, now let me even say this, how do we now have strong institution? It is time like this that we can now look at if INEC is actually neutral. If INEC were to be neutral, were to be an independent commission, this is now the time for INEC to now exert its authority and publish a notice of election and go ahead, because the law is very clear. INEC has their legal team that will tell them this is what the law says.
So you are saying, Twicko, by what you have presented, and also by that section of the Constitution which you presented, which you quoted, that there really isn't crisis in the PDP to have warranted the defection of those 27 members as they used as an excuse. You're saying, I'm just putting certain things, I need an affirmation, yes or no.
Exactly my thought.
Good. Second, you're also saying that by virtue of their defection to the APC, they have lost their seats.
By function of the law.
Good. And that INEC should go ahead and conduct
fresh elections in those 27 seats.
New members, 27 of those seats.
Exactly, exactly. So as to avoid vacuum.
Okay. Now, let me also put it to you, before we go to the phone lines. I'm not putting it to you, I'm just going to put it as a...
Whichever. I am here to take it.
I'm going to put it as a question. Where do you see this whole thing going?
You see...
Well, let me just announce to you as we speak, the State House of Assembly is being demolished.
Because it was already burned down, and the government has commenced the process to renovate it.
That's an additional information. It's
being
demolished. So the Martins and Mahule-led faction will not go there anymore. Don't you sense some political intrigue here? Because we had seen that building. It's not so bad to warrant a demolition.
Well, I think...
But it's been demolished as we speak.
Well,
to be rebuilt.
The question is, why is it being demolished? You have even added it. You've even said it. That it's been demolished to be rebuilt. So if the government has now said the building was already burned down in the first instance, we've actually been seeing videos and pictures of the way it was burned, and then the government has now come up to say, let us renovate it and then go ahead to bring it down to rebuild it. I don't see anything wrong about it, because it is now, the question should be, who burnt it down? Have there been any arrest? Are those who burnt it down have been prosecuted? Because the public funds will now be used into what was caused by some criminal element.
Let me ask you, Twicko. The phone lines will be open in a bit, and I need an affirmation as well. Where do you see this thing going? The way of the River State Governor Sim, who's embattled, or the way of his predecessor, who's allegedly fighting him?
First of all, I see a very big crisis in River State. And like I have said in my previous interviews elsewhere, River State is the oil belt of Nigeria. River State is the center of the South-South region. That is why I feel so concerned about it. Now, whatever happened in River State, where neighbors could also, spill over to into Akwa and its neighboring states. So if we don't add our voice to calling a spade, and calling for law and order to be maintained in River State, and you say because it is River State, if it happened here, what will you do? So what we are simply saying is that the governor of River State has the full authority of the state and its people to govern the state. I am not even saying that the former governor has an hand, but I'm surprised that the former governor is still quiet. He's a man who loves the press. He's a man who loves to call press conferences. And he's a man whose godson is being embattled by God knows who. And yet, we've not heard him come out to condemn, to do a press conference.
But people have come out to finger him. Chief Edwin Clark has
Good.
held back. Chief Edwin Clark has
That
always
is
been saying the president should call Wike to order.
good. Now, if Edwin Clark has not come out, this is one man that I so hold in high esteem. I have worked with him when he was deputy chairman of the SOPEC, and I was the youth leader. I have worked with him, and he's very sound. He doesn't just go to the press where he has no fact. If Edwin Clark, and the other day I watch Ankyo Briggs, and I even watch Nkotaria and other prominent stakeholders of the state are pointing towards the minister of FCT. Then it means that something is wrong. It means that he has a hand, or he's been perceived to have a hand. Just like what I'm saying, that this is a man who loves the press, who loves to speak out, who uses every media opportunity he has to say his mind. And here they are pointing at him, and he's yet more than 24 hours to make a statement or call the press and tell the press whether he has a hand or not. And to even say that this Sim is his godson, is being embattled, and he's not saying a word to either support him or to advise him, for me, call for more to be worried about. Now, when you ask me, where do I see all these things heading to? I see crisis in Rivers State, and I see that the law will be breached, and I see that there will be disorderliness in Rivers State. And so what I am simply doing here today is to invite the IGP and other security agencies to ensure that there is law and order in the state. There's a governor in the state. The governor is the chief security officer of the state. It should be allowed, it should be encouraged, it should be given the necessary apparatus to carry out the function of the state. Because at the end of the day, it will be the government of Fubara that will be given the accountability that we'll be asking him to give, not the past governor, not whoever. Even that same day, he summoned an emergency ESCO meeting and came out and read out what will be done in terms of project. So for me, he should not be distracted. He should be allowed to govern the state in line with the law of the land.
All right, thank you very much. It's work on Frank Minutes on. We've looked at several issues culminating to the point where we looked at the crisis still brewing in Rivers State. The House of Assembly there, well, of course, I did tell you about the ruling when I was reviewing the paper that the APC has also kicked against that ruling and asked that the judge be sanctioned for issuing such a ruling, barring the Martins of Mahule-led faction from parading themselves. The Martins of Mahule as a speaker, fractional, however be it. The only one recognizes Edison Ehie as we speak at the moment.
Let me even add that the PDP by now ought to have been in the court to ask that the INEC should go ahead and carry out their function by declaring the seat vacant and then do elections for those seats.
Okay.
But then the PDP should be in court.
Well, don't speak for them.
No, I said by now.
You assume.
No, even
you expect that they should be in court.
Even we are considering the option because we have the right to also go to court.
Okay.
As CSOs, we are considering the option of even going to court.
In River State.
I'm telling you, we have that because when wherever the law is breached, it affects everywhere.
Okay.
Once the law is breached anywhere, it's injustice everywhere. So we are even considering the option. Yeah. Yeah. So we are even thinking of even going to court on behalf of those of the people of the state, of River State.
All right.
Because the law is very clear. The law is not only meant for the people of River State, it's meant for Nigerians. And we, the CSOs, we belong here. And we fought for democracy and we must fight to protect it. Anywhere it is being confronted with challenges like this.
Okay. 0906 000 4945. Alternatively 0906 000 5945. Text and WhatsApp 0906 000 9455. 1 minute per call. Let's have you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from?
This is Samuel calling from Chilatan.
Go ahead.
You see, the problem that we always have, until we continue to have this issue, is that we don't have a strong institution. Being a judge, being a governor, being whatever it is, the state government as a place that people go there to make their way out. The River State, go into River State as we were just discussing. What really refer to these people? How did the governor come into play? Is it that because PDP government, the PDP House of Assembly don't have issues? There is an issue. I don't see somebody take on saying that the PDP there's no issue. There's a problem in PDP in River State. If I'm not transmitting in the national may not have issue. But the state where people are living may have a problem. The problem will come from the state that they come in. I think that what the government should say, they should bring in the national in to solve the problem. But for you to say no, there is no issue in PDP. But there is issue in PDP in River State.
All right.
Maybe I should educate him.
That should not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sam, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. You have seconds to wrap
Yes,
up.
just to educate our caller. You see, when you say there is a division, I was trying to quote what the law says. Section 109 or 1G says, if there is no division in the party, like we said here, the party is known by its national head office, not in the states, not in the local government. So if you have crisis in PDP in the states, that doesn't mean that you have division in the PDP. So the PDP, as we know today, has no two national chairman, has no two NWC, has no two NEC.
Okay, that settles one call before we head for commercials. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Pastors.
Your name or where you're calling from, Sam?
Peter is my name. I'm calling from Ekbalaba.
Go ahead.
Yes, you see, it's very unfortunate that what is happening in River State is allowed to happen. Agreed. Everybody, even Weekend himself, before he became let me just say, local government chairman, was packaged by somebody. Before he became Minister of Education, Minister of State Education, he was packaged by somebody. Before he became a governor, even a candidate for governorship and governor, he was packaged by somebody. And she had structures before Governor Wike became governor. Why was Amici not destroying him? He was a governor, Wike was a minister, it was a war. He couldn't allow Amici to even penetrate the vaccine. So now, for me, I believe Fubra is doing well, and because I practicing the law the way it should be, I stand with Otuekom that what has happened, they have shot themselves by the foot, and they have lost their seat. So what PDP should do as a party is to take the matter to court, not to ask INEC to do this because they will not do. Let them go to court and ask for a limited hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You've spoken well. Let's get commercials. We'll come back. We'll take calls and messages. Stay tuned. It's still the morning flat, the big talk.